So you're doing everything right. You're eating the same portions you always have. You're hitting the gym. You're tracking your macros. And yet you wake up, you look in the mirror, and you don't recognize your own body, especially that weight around your midsection. You feel like you're doing the work, but the results just aren't showing up. The frustrating reality? You aren't failing. Your metabolism is just going through a mandatory structural change that, frankly, no one warned us about. Today, we're going to strip away the fad diet advice and look at the actual science of why this is happening. And more importantly, what can you actually do about it? Think of your metabolism like your all-time favorite recipe. You've made it 100 times. You know it by heart, the ingredients, the timing, the temperature. It comes out perfectly every single time. But in perimenopause, it's like someone secretly swapped out your oven. The same recipe, same ingredients, same steps, but the oven now runs hotter in some places, cooler in others. And nothing turns out the way it used to. You follow the instructions exactly. The same healthy meals you've always eaten, the same workouts, but now you're standing in the kitchen, confused, frustrated, and honestly, a little exhausted. It feels like you've lost your touch, as if you've suddenly forgotten how to be healthy. But the truth is much simpler. You are playing by the old rule book in a completely new environment. Instead of turning the food into usable energy for your muscles, you're shifting hormones or changing the mechanism behind the scenes, sending those same calories straight into storage, especially as visceral fat around your abdomen. Traditional calorie counting fails here because it assumes the oven hasn't changed. It treats weight management like a simple recipe. Put in the right ingredients, get the right results. But the oven your body runs on has fundamentally shifted, and you simply can't bake the same the way you used to. Now, let's talk about that sudden midsection weight, because I know how incredibly defeating it is. Most of us were raised to believe that body fat is just passive stored energy. We think if we just eat a little less or walk a little more, it'll melt away. But in midlife, that rule book gets completely thrown out. We have to stop looking at visceral fat, the fat that settles deep inside your abdomen around your organs, just as an annoying layer of tissue. The biological reality is that it behaves like an active, independent, incredibly disruptive organ. It doesn't just sit there quietly. It is actively pumping out inflammatory signals into your bloodstream 24 hours a day. Think of it like that toxic, noisy neighbor who moves in next door and starts blasting music at 2 a.m. in the morning every single night. You can't sleep, you can't relax, and your entire house is constantly vibrating. That is exactly what this shift is doing to our system. It keeps that body in a low level, constant state of alarm. It isn't just a cosmetic issue about how your clothes fit or how you look in a dress. This is the exact scientific reason why you wake up feeling completely inflamed, exhausted, and sluggish before your day has even started. To understand why this happens, we need to talk about insulin resistance and why it suddenly locks your body down during perimenopause. Imagine insulin as your body's highly efficient logistics manager. When you eat, food turns into glucose, and insulin immediately gets to work directing that energy to your muscles, brain, and cells to be burned as fuel. It's a smooth operation, ensuring everything gets to where it needs to be. But during perimenopause, something significant happens. Your estrogen levels drop. And when this occurs, it's like your cells suddenly stop accepting deliveries. They're closed, doors locked, nobody's answering. Your logistics manager, insulin, does the only thing it knows how to do. It sends out more truck. It's like when you want your kids to do something. You ask them calmly to clean their room, but no response. And then you say it a little bit louder, and still no response. Then finally you have to yell to get them to move and do it. This is exactly what your pancreas is forced to do. As estrogen declines, your cells begin to ignore those normal, quiet signals. So your pancreas panics and starts screaming, flooding your bloodstream with massive waves of extra insulin, just to force those cells to listen. First one truck, then two, then a whole fleet just to get one delivery through. Here's the metabolic trap. When your body is constantly screaming with high insulin levels, it acts like a master padlock on your fat cells. Your body becomes physically incapable of burning that fat for fuel when insulin is that high. Because the energy can't get into your cells and can't be burned off, your body has no choice but to route it straight into the long-term storage, often right around your midsection. This isn't about willpower or calorie counting. Your body is locked in a hormonal shouting match, and no amount of discipline can outshout that. Finally, we have to talk about sleep, or more accurately, the total lack of it. When your deep sleep gets completely fragmented by fluctuating hormones, it turns your entire metabolic system upside down. It's like trying to run a chaotic household when you haven't slept in days. Things start slipping through the cracks immediately. Behind the scenes, your hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin, completely lose their footing. One tells you when you're full, the other tells you when you're starving, and right now, they are screaming at each other. By the time 3 o'clock rolls around and you find yourself desperately reaching for that afternoon snack, I want you to hear me on this. It is not a lack of willpower. It is your exhausted brain crying out for a quick hit of survival energy to get you through the rest of the day. Lack of sleep increases cravings for the wrong kind of fuel. So, where does this leave us? It means that the standard, generic, eat less, move more, calories in, calories out advice is completely missing the most critical component of all, hormonal context. Clinical data shows us that up to 58% of postmenopausal women meet the medical criteria for metabolic syndrome, a direct consequence of these unmanaged hormonal transitions. This is more than half of us navigating the exact same metabolic roadblock. But look, understanding the science isn't about causing a panic. It's about giving you the exact blueprint to stop guessing and realize you actually have the power to change the outcome. Once you stop blaming your willpower, stop fighting your changing biology, and actually start working with it, the entire game changes. This is just the surface of what's happening in our bodies during midlife. If you want to dive deeper into the mechanics of your metabolism, hormones, and how to actually support your longevity, I've put together a resource for you. You can download the introduction and the first chapter of my book, Nobody Warned Us, for free at the link below. It covers the science we didn't get taught in school. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more evidence-based midlife health education. Nobody warned us, but now we know. I'll see you in the next one.